Hi, everyone. My name's Britton Cline, Ad Sales Manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
I'm William Cline, publisher, and welcome to the show. If you're a dive company out there and would like to get on the show, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on this, I think, our 100th episode, 105 episodes, something like that so
absolutely.
far. So who do we have with us today, Britton?
Yes, so today we have our own Gil Zeimer along with Marina Walser and Jone Waitaiti of Dive Academy Fiji and Viani Bay Resort, which Gil, you actually wrote a really cool article about their sustainability efforts in our March issue. So Gil, Marina, and Johnny, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Britton, today is going to be a great show. Fiji is one of our bucket list destinations, and the resort looks just spectacular. And it's also involved in some really cool sustainability projects. So
Very cool.
We're going to have a lot to jump in today.
Yeah, that's right. But guys, just to dive right into things, Marina and Johnny, what should the diving industry know about your resort and your dive shop, where you're located, and really what makes your place different from other Fiji resorts?
Good question.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for this question. So Viani Bay is in Fiji in the heart of the Rainbow Reef, the closest you can get to those around 30 top class dive sites, including the famous Great White Wall. We have no road access. We are located on the second biggest island, Vanuatu, but our closest road is right across the strait on Taveuni on the Garden Island, which is only 20 minutes by boat. So we built this place from the start with a focus on conservation and community engagement and wanting to share the real Fiji with our guests and wanting to share this great underwater world with our guests and also engage them in conservation and community projects that we are running. Our resort hosts a maximum of 10 guests on site at a time. During cruising season, we have yachts anchored in the bay. They also join for happy hour and diving and dining.
Wow.
And we are a 5-star PADI dive resort, eco center, and the only free diving center in the area, with Johnny being one of the first ever certified PADI distinctive freediving instructors in the world.
Wow.
Trained by world record holder Christian Riedel in Germany.
Very cool.
So, yeah, so for us, boutique means it's small scale. Everything is personalized. That is for the resort, but also for the diving, with a maximum of 4 divers per boat. The proximity to the reef, which gives us more flexibility. And Johnny will talk about the diving in a bit. The bungalows are sustainably built with local timber that we source from here in the bay, helping other people buy timber or trees from their native land. They are with natural ventilation and fans. So sorry for the folks in the US, no aircon. However, it's never as hot and as humid as in Southeast Asia. And in our winter, which is the main season, so summer in the US, you actually will like to have the warm blanket. It's getting cold in the night. The guests really commend our food, which is all freshly prepared from scratch with local ingredients. And we try to offer an elevated Fijian cuisine to give a taste of Fiji, where Fiji sea salt comes into play as well. And so again, sorry, no pizza, pasta, burger. But I promise you won't miss it. And the core here it's our team. They are all here from the bay, a local team that we train from scratch. And you can just experience the real Fiji and not a resort bubble.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
truly amazing.
Yeah, that mixed with all the visuals,
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear more about the diving. Obviously, we're a show aimed at dive shops and travel sellers. So maybe talk a little bit about, I know the Great White Wall is famous. Gil, I think you were even there, right? And dove it. And Johnny, we'd love to hear all about the dive product that you have?
Yeah, that's the best part of our place. Our location is just 5 minutes to the Great White Wall. You can see waves breaking on it right now. It's very short and very close to a world famous dive site, and everybody dive it. So the best part of the Rainbow Reef is in the middle of Somosomo Strait, and it's both side of the reef is very deep. It's like 1,000 meters deep. So when the current passes over the Rainbow Reef, it brings these nutrients from the deep and washes it over the reef. So that's why it's full of corals, hard corals, soft corals, and tons of fish. And the white wall is sitting at the narrowest part of the channel of the strait. So it collects all these strong current and all these nutrients from the deep. So it's vibrant with colors and corals, fish. And the reef we have here, depending on the tides, the current, okay, and on the moon, the size of the moon. So the white wall is scheduled like only at slack low tide, Otherwise, it's very strong current because it's the narrowest part of the reef. Yeah. So some dive shops do it only twice a month because they are so far away from the white wall. They can only do it on their first dive. So we are so close, and we time the white wall at this low current, so we can do it first dive, second dive. We do it in the afternoon. We do it in the night dive also.
Wow, that's
And
pretty cool.
very few people has done it in the night. These white soft corals, they turn electric blue with a flashlight in the night. So it's yeah.
Wow.
And all these white soft corals, they bloom without any current in the night. So they fill up with water and open up in the night even without current. In the daytime, you need to time it with current.
Right.
And it's like the only part of Fiji that's snowing there.
That's so cool.
Yeah. What makes them white? I mean, is there other places, does that coral exist on other reefs, or is it just unique to this locale?
In the whole of Rainbow Reef, 9 miles, that's the only place they have this white soft coral. They don't grow grow only in patches. So that white wall is like 50 meters wide, and that's it. Wow. And there is like a straight end to it, and the rest there's no other white soft coral.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they are white because they don't have any zooxanthellae in them for photosynthesis, so they are not bleached. They have to catch all their food themselves, like most of the soft corals. So they only suck themselves full with water to catch food when there is current to bring the food along. Right. And this happens either during times where the current is on the reef. At the other 6 hours, there is no current on the wall, so they won't feed. Or in the night when the food comes up from the deep and they can feed.
Right. Fascinating.
And
so cool.
the part starts at like 22-meter depth. And the deeper you go, the more dense they are. So this is an advanced dive site.
Wow, very
that
cool.
Definitely solidies it as a dream
Yeah,
dive
sure
site.
does.
But Gil, you wrote some really unique sustainability. You wrote about some very unique sustainability programs that they're engaged in. Could you give us some detail about their sustainability programs with solar power, as well as the I'm not sure if I'm going to say this correctly. Desalination plant.
Sure, I'd love to. And by the way, I was introduced to Marina and Johnny because she receives Scuba Diving Industry Magazine every month. And she read an article that I had written in my series about how to blue your business and make more green. She wrote an email to Willie. He passed it along to me. I interviewed her last month, and that's how the story came about. And I was fascinated by the depth of the sustainability projects she has going on, because it's so much in line with my philosophy of what diving should be. And even Blue Friday, which I told her about and we'll talk about shortly, that she's going to participate in this year for the first time. But this is a solar powered, there are other solar powered places in Fiji, right?
Yeah.
But this I believe is the only solar powered dive resort and dive shop and dive resort, and the only one that powers its desalination plant by the sun. And those two projects, plus your coral restoration project and the salt project and all the other things that are in the article, make this one of the most unique places I've ever heard about. And it's definitely on my bucket list, and hope we can make that happen someday.
Totally.
Thank you, Gil.
Sure.
That does now the desalination also is it helps with the local school from what I recall, correct?
Right.
Supplies
Yeah.
water.
So these are separate desalination plants. So we had a connection with the German embassy, and both the German embassy and on another instant the deputy chief of station were here on holiday and from Suva, and then Melanie, the deputy chief of station, visited the school, and then when they had a grant coming up, she asked, Marina, do you need anything for the school? So during our winter, it gets very dry here. So the springs all dry up. There is no way to catch enough water up front in tanks. And we have a very special climate, microclimate, great for tourism because you have sunshine on the Garden
It doesn't
Islands in
rain.
Taviuni. It rains.
Right.
Yeah. But of course, it's a big constraint. So with the funding from the German government, we then were able to source a small desalination plant, including a solar system, a backup generator, tanks and fittings, and auxiliary equipment. And it can create 140 liters of fresh water per hour. So enough for 60 school kids and the teachers who live on site the compound.
Wow. Very
And
cool.
then we have another desalination plant for our resort.
Wow, that's
amazing.
very cool. You know, and you mentioned something earlier about the dining there, and you said Fiji salts. Talk to us about your other side business, the Fijian salt products.
Yeah, it started during COVID. I got so bored, I started cooking salt water. How bored can you be to cook salt water?
Right.
Yeah. It started like that, and then I always wanted to make my own salt. So the resort was closed down, the dive shop was closed down, and I had so much time that okay, let's do this. Always want to do, and then I found out that no one else in Fiji is doing it, making sea salt. So I said, oh, it's my time now. And at
Totally.
that very time, the US ambassador was here in our resort during the time when I started making salt. And he recognized the salt as a really good product out of Fiji. He told me for the Fiji water will move away and Fiji sea salt will come up.
There it is.
That's great.
So, yeah, they stayed here, the US ambassador stayed here for 7 days,
Wow.
the whole family. And we talked about the business, and he said it's a good quality. I should ship it to the US. So I made white salt, and it's handcrafted. It's like there's 4 different kinds of salt in salt water. When you sun dry them, it's not separated. It's all mixed into the same salt. So when you cook it, it separates. You remove the first 2 salts, they're not good salt. It's like eating corals. And then the next 3 and 4th salt that comes up, that's the real quality salt. That's flaky salt. Yeah.
That's
So
so cool.
it's real, and we drive out to the Rainbow Reef with drums and tanks and collect fresh water from the Rainbow Reef. We only go out at rising tide, which means the clear water from the deep is being brought up with the current, and we
Very
just
cool.
fill it up in tanks.
Right.
I don't take water from the shore because I don't trust human and animal waste and the rivers and stuff. So yeah, and then we drive it back to the salt house and we pass it through the desalination also.
Very cool.
The resort gets its fresh water and I get the saltier water, you know.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
And then I use this salt water to make salt. Yeah, and we process. We have 3 ladies working in the salt house and doing all this cooking and flavoring and packaging. And it's now in resorts, supermarkets, hotels, gift shops, markets. And I've got 2 people now interested to take my salts to the US.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Incredible.
sell it on Amazon or on their online shops.
There are 16 different flavors that Johnny created because, as he mentions, he gets bored so easily. So once he built everything here, he needed another hobby. And he said, I'm bored with the white color. It's so bright, the fleur de sel. First, it dried it in the sun. It gets so bright, you need sunglasses.
Wow.
And then he wanted to get color in it. I think the first one was what? Pesto, the green one?
Yeah,
or turmeric?
Pesto. It is basil and garlic blend together. So the flavor should be in liquid form. Then you add it to the salt, and the salt flakes will draw the liquid in. And then we put it back in the oven to dry it, and then the flavor is locked in the salt crystals forever, preserved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So much more intense than just dried. If you have dried white salt with dried basil leaves or garlic or whatever.
Totally.
So that's just two dried components together. This one is infused, so it has the beautiful colors, and the taste is more intense.
Like a chef's dream.
Last year we got a government grant to build a new processing house. So, and new pots and ovens and solar system. And now we can supply, hopefully, the US, probably. Just hope we don't run out of salt water.
Right.
Yeah, you got a lot of that.
That's so cool. Well, Gil, you've been a big champion of Blue Friday. Marina or Johnny, could you tell us about how your resort has participated in that effort?
So we haven't yet because we didn't know about it. We do all these conservation activities. We have a big day on Fiji Day where we always do a beach cleanup and go to the coral farm with local volunteers and guests and everyone. We plant the same amount of corals as years of independence. So that's how many? 55 last year. Yes, 55 last October.
Which we're watching right now.
And yeah, and so yeah, we are excited to participate in Blue Friday and do some like blue dives for this event and create awareness, and because that's all what we do about it. The coral and giant clam nursery that we have, Johnny convinced the local community and the chiefs to protect a whole reef here in the bay and not go fishing there anymore. And this was a big step because for some of the settlements, it's so close by, they would go in the night and get the parrotfish for food. But by protecting this one reef and putting the coral and giant clam nursery there, it also became a fish nursery. So we now have bigger and more fish in the bay for people's food, for people's livelihood. And we do beach cleanups. Johnny started with Cleanup Taviuni. Yeah. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, I started this beach cleanup. I was starting to salt, so obviously I will be harvesting trash, for my salt.
Right.
So I tried to start a cleanup campaign. We collected about 90 tons of trash.
90 tons.
From the roadside and
180,000
from the roadside and the beaches.
A lot of trash.
And this was before COVID. Then we had local volunteers joining, the Rotary Taviuni joined, the shops, the bus company would transport the volunteers. We had T-shirts for them and stuff. But
popular. Had interviews with Radio Australia.
Yes.
And it's made the government ban single-use plastic.
That's incredible.
It was so popular that the government stopped.
That's big.
But Johnny almost got arrested by removing rubbish from a shop.
Oh, no.
They didn't like that.
Well,
and it was a big movement, and there's unfortunately much more trash on Taviuni than here in Viani Bay. I went with the kids once a month around the bay to clean up. And initially we found quite a bit, but after a while, not so much anymore. The kids are disappointed, and we separated and we sorted and we discuss about what we can reuse, what we can avoid completely, etc. And then the parents come and they say, we're not allowed to drop anything anymore. The kids tell us, no, you can't drop it. You put it
That's
in the
awesome.
bin, so in the rubbish bin.
It's
And
generational
yep,
change right there. Generational change.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, of course, also here people live primarily from the land and the ocean, so they don't use all these convenience products and products that are packaged. So there is not that much trash. Same as our resort. We avoid one-time plastics. Our Fiji water is from a spring and rainwater, which we filter again, and then we have reusable plastic bottles or metal bottles for the guests and on the boats.
Very cool. I have one last question that's not on our script. That is, how far away are you from where they film Survivor?
Oh, that's just down the coastline by boat, say 25, 30 minutes.
That's great. That's
so
great.
cool.
Just down the coast here.
On
A
your
little
island?
bit further than our seaweed farm. So we have a seaweed farm down the coast.
Same
Wow.
island.
Same island.
Same island.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
No
that's
kidding.
great. That's
That question
great.
was for him.
That was great. Well, Gil, Marina, and Johnny, thank you for putting on this great show today
Truly
and
a pleasure.
tell us some really great information. And Gil, thanks again for writing your article. It's came out fantastic. I'll send you a preview tomorrow of it, and send to you as well, Marina and Johnny. And this has been a great show, hasn't it, Britton?
Definitely. Yeah.
So you can watch all of our past episodes on our website, scubadivingindustry.com.
That's right.
That's where we have an archive of everything that we've done. So I guess that's probably going to wrap us up for today, don't you think, Britton?
That's right. Guys, we will see you next time.
Thanks again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.